Roz's Turn is the 17th episode of the 4th season of Frasier. This is directed by Joyce Gittlin, and as always, there will be spoilers from now as I talk about the episode and share some thoughts. And I'm going to go through this one chronologically. Starts off kind of randomly, actually, with Niles needing to sell some charity tickets. Then Roz comes over to the apartment, and it turns out there's actually a slot opening up at KCL, and she's decided she's going to go for it. She's going to try and get the slot because she actually always wanted to be in front of the microphone. She kind of just fell into the producing side. And we have this fabulous scene, brilliantly written, where Roz is practicing for her audition tape with Frasier, Niles and Daphne, and she asks Daphne to be a caller who phones in, and the caller's partner is just not showing her any affection at all, despite the many seductive attempts. And obviously we have Daphne describing these things, and Niles is playing her fake husband. And needless to say, he's kind of partly loving it and kind of partly in a trance. And I just thought it was beautifully written, very, very well done. Martin then comes home and asks Daphne for some exercises because he's been on his date with Sherry and he's maybe not as flexible as he was because he hasn't been keeping up with his exercises. And Daphne said something that actually made me laugh out loud, and she says, 2 hips but no hooray, which it took me by surprise, and I rather liked it. And then Roz asks Martin if she can pretend to interview him, and Niles asks, is he really the best person to talk to about first dates? And we have this fabulous moment, and it's probably going to be the screenshot for this because I just love how it was framed. Martin puts his hand up in the air because he asks, quick survey, how many Crane men are here with a girlfriend? And his hand goes in the air, and it's fabulous, and I loved it. Frasier and Roz were then down at KCL, and Frasier had previously told Bebe that he secretly hopes that Roz doesn't get the job because he would be tempted to quit if, the new producer wasn't very good and it just wasn't a great environment. And obviously Bebe doesn't want that to happen. So she takes matters into her own hands, but we'll find out about that in a moment because Bulldog comes in and tells Roz that, unfortunately, Brenda from the newsroom got the job. And Bulldog was supportive in his own way by saying it's total BS. And I genuinely feel like he really meant that as well. And I feel like he genuinely cares about Roz. And I think that was really lovely to see. Bebe then comes in and tells Frasier, when Roz is out of sight, that she actually had a word with the station manager. And Bebe thought Frasier would be happy that she'd sabotaged Roz's chance. Because obviously the station manager doesn't want Frasier to leave either. But needless to say, Frasier is actually really hurt by what Bebe did because it sabotaged his friend's chance at success. And in Frasier's defense, I think he did the right thing afterwards. And he was feeling a bit guilty because he was the one who spoke to Bebe. And he did mention this to Roz. And Roz said something that I thought was really great. She told Frasier he could make it up to her by firing Bebe. And she said it was for both of our sakes. She lies and backstabs people, and it looks badly on Frasier. And I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting Roz to really kind of blow up at Frasier and not really think about how Bebe is affecting Frasier's career, just focusing on how together they've kind of ruined hers. And I really admire that she was also looking out for Frasier in that moment. I think it says a lot about how much she cares for Frasier. And clearly, Frasier cares a lot about Roz. So they both go and visit Bebe. And Bebe realises what's about to happen. So she starts popping heart pills. She gets a fake phone call from, somebody telling her that her sister has been in a car crash or a vehicle crash. And then she gets a fake phone call from her young niece. And then we find out that actually the receptionist is her mother, which was not what I expected. And definitely an interesting outburst from Bebe. And as Frasier and Roz are about to leave, Bebe asks Roz if she wants her to be her agent. And Roz runs back into the room to get her purse, and they arrange to meet for dinner. And I thought it was an interesting ending. It was a bit of a flat ending, to be honest. It wasn't my favourite. The final scene is actually somebody else with a monkey trying to leave Bebe's agency, which was not that interesting, but it worked well enough, I guess. It's not my favourite ending, but at the same time, I did like the episode as a whole. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. It was nice to learn a little bit more about Roz's professional life, because whenever we have focus on Roz, it's usually about her love life. Not always, but usually. So it's nice to actually have a look at her career aspirations and indeed what she wanted to do. As she said, she always wanted to host her own show. And I really admire her for going for it and trying to follow that dream, even if it didn't exactly go according to plan, mostly thanks to Bebe. Really enjoyed the episode. Definitely some really great moments. Highlights were definitely just Martin in general and just Roz in general, actually. Martin and Roz, I think, were definitely brilliant here. And Bulldog's little moment of support for Roz as well. Roz's turn is definitely a really great episode of Frasier.